Hello to all you Patriots out there in podcast land, and welcome to episode 238 of Canadian Patriot Podcast, the number one live podcast in Canada. We're recording on June 17th, 2020. As always, my name is Andrew. I'll be your host. Joining me tonight is Gavin.
Hey, we'd love your feedback about the show, so please visit CanadianPatriotPodcast.com/feedback or email us at feedback@CanadianPatriotPodcast.com. Version of the show is available at Stitchers, iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, etc., etc., etc. Tell your friends about us. We'd appreciate it.
While you're telling your friends, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. You should be following the podcast on the Book of Faces, facebook.com/Canadian Patriot Podcast, and on Instagram at Canadian Patriot Podcast. And I should probably say something about YouTube, so click the subscribe button so you know when we go live.
Yeah.
2 shows a week.
It's more bang for your buck.
We need literally your one effing dollar. We need your help. To support the show, visit patreon.com/CPP and become a Patreon today. You get a better quality version of the show for just $1 per episode. And since we've moved to the new 2 shows per week COVID format, Patreons get early access to the midweek show. It's a full week early, so we record like Wednesday, Thursday night. I think we're settling on Wednesday nights. To be determined. But I've been releasing the midweek show the following Thursday. So, Patreons get it a week early. Show you're not a communist. Buy a CPP t-shirt for just $19.99 plus shipping and theft. Visit CanadianPatriotPodcast.com's homepage and follow the link all the way on the right. All the way over there on the right. It's time for my favorite segment. It's called What Are We Drinking? It's where I ask the panel, what are we drinking? Being that Gavin is the only other person on the show this evening, Gavin, I'd like to know what you're drinking.
I am drinking Jack Daniels and Coke Zero this evening. A classic.
Still not sold on American corn liquor, but I mean, consistency, I suppose.
Yep.
I'm drinking Black Swan's Wild Child. It is a Berliner Weiss. It is a sour ale, just like me.
Sounds appropriate.
Going to the news. We skipped out on the news on Monday because of the 22 TISM.
And the service pistolism. Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you to everyone that has reached out on the social media in the last couple of days to get involved with Gay Service Pistol. I can't guarantee that you'll shoot better, but I can guarantee if you have a lot of time, you'll shoot accurately. I probably can't guarantee that, but whatever. It's fine. It's an entertainment podcast.
Yeah.
Let's do some news. CP24, this is going back a week to the 11th. Ontario's health minister... wow, too much Berliner Weiss. Ontario's health minister shopped at Toronto LCBO while awaiting COVID-19 test results. So, I don't know if everybody saw the social media. The health minister and the premier were at a press conference with the education minister. The education minister thought he may have been exposed to someone with COVID. They canceled, the premier and the health minister canceled a subsequent press conference, and they went and got COVID tested and were supposed to go home and wait for the results. And in that period, the health minister was caught shopping at the LCBO.
Well, I mean, if you're going to be quarantined with the COVIDs, I mean, you got to stock up on the liquors, right? I mean, it's not like they deliver or anything.
Okay, so...
Oh, wait.
Not disagreeing with you. You should be stocked up in case of the COVIDs or other pandemic or natural disaster. But you should be stocked up before you get exposed to the COVID.
Right. Better late than never. Yeah. Better late than never.
I mean, I suppose. So,
yeah.
Good news, nobody has COVID. Bad news, the health minister behaved poorly and failed to follow their own advice.
Yeah.
So.
That and I mean.
Yeah.
For all the people that do listen and say we're biased and we don't ever shit talk about like the conservatives. Yeah, we do when they make massive faux pas like this. Absolutely.
Yeah, don't tell the rest of us to go home.
Yeah,
exactly. Don't tell the rest of us to go home and self-isolate if we think we have the COVID. And then go out in public and buy alcohol. Leave that alcohol for those of us that are healthy. And also, you should already have enough alcohol to be quarantined in your house for 2 weeks. It's Canada. What if there's a blizzard? Come on.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's June. There could be a blizzard.
It's Southern Ontario. There could literally be a bit. It was -2 the other day. We're officially the most Canadian podcast because we literally are talking about the weather.
I thought all the other ones did that too.
Yeah, well, our forecast is the best forecast.
Yeah.
All right. So you remember last week we talked about the Liberal member of Parliament from Cambridge that was arrested on assault charges and other charges, but also assault charges.
Yeah. Mostly assault. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this past week, a candidate for the Liberal Party in Simcoe North was arrested and is now facing child pornography charges. Diversity is our strength, but hemp will save the world.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't really want the end of the world, but if it does come, I'm really looking forward to forming like a roaming band of like pedo hit squad people, so we can just go and take these guys out appropriately.
Right. During the Boog apocalypse, hunting pedophiles for sport.
Yeah.
I mean, we know a guy who hunts pedophiles professionally, and
yes,
come on, you guys couldn't have got this guy sooner. I'm kind of semi-teasing.
Yeah.
Obviously, he didn't win his seat.
Tip our hat
but,
to you and your good work, but yeah.
Obviously, this candidate did not win his seat because it's Simcoe North, but yeah, good job, Liberal Party. Way to go with your pick.
Yeah,
there.
they vetted their candidates really well. I mean, you know, for as terrible as the candidates were for the People's Party, at least they didn't have any pedophiles.
Yet.
Yeah, well, yeah, yet.
Let's be realistic here. Pretty much everyone in government has got something wrong with them. That's why they're in government.
That's true.
But
I mean, the only person
totally
qualified is the person that doesn't want the job.
Totally down with, like, during the Boog apocalypse, pedo hit squads.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I would be fine with it even prior to the Boogs happening. But, you know.
For legal reasons, that's a joke. Your dog is so loud, bro.
Yeah, he's got tap shoes on. He's embracing his cultural heritage.
He's an English bulldog.
Yeah, they're known to be tap dancers. Read a book.
If I could read a book, maybe I would. Let's do one from the National Post. This is an opinion piece from John Ivison. Canada's most senior diplomat owes China $1.2 million. He's vulnerable. No kidding. Foreign Affairs Minister Francois Philippe Champagne. Cool name. Kind of a douchebag, though.
Every room that he's in is the champagne room.
Constantly making it rain, I imagine.
Yeah.
So he was he was minister of something else. He was finance minister before this. He was minister of something. Anyway, since the last cabinet
probably
shuffle,
finance, because then he would be minister of making it rain.
He's the minister of something, but the last cabinet shuffle, he got promoted to minister of foreign affairs. So he is now in charge of our international diplomacy. The way that he owes the Chinese government money is interesting. I'm going to use different language than what John Ivison says in the article. For whatever reason, when he was working in the UK in like 2009 to 2013, before he got into politics, he bought 2 properties in London. And because he was a temporary resident in the UK, he wasn't able to get a mortgage from a British bank. He was, however, able to get a pair of mortgages from the Bank of China. You know, the state-owned, government-run Bank of China. I'm
surprised they even have a bank, to be honest.
Well, I mean, their fake money is just as green as everybody else's fake money.
Yeah, but like it's just surprising that they would even bother having money with everything being provided by dear leader. But
well, yeah. I mean, I guess I don't know if you're charging. I don't know what you would even call them, extra patriots, people of other countries. If you're charging people that are not your own citizenry usury to borrow your fake money to buy a property in another country, is that really? I mean, again, your fake money is just as fake as everybody else's fake money. So
yeah, maybe even faker.
Apparently, this was declared to the ethics minister, but like was not made public and was not included on a bunch of reports that the minister had to file. Not really sure what the ethics of that are, but also it's been a problem for the last 5 years. Not sure why it's suddenly coming to light. I feel like it has to do with a combination of the promotion to Minister for Foreign Affairs and also China, because China is in the news recently. I don't know if you've noticed.
Well, a little bit. I mean, I guess there's the Chinese virus and so on going around.
The other odd piece that I find with this is that the minister still owns 2 properties in England while he's been in government in Canada for the last 5 years, and combined the properties are worth something like $3.7 million. So literally just sell one.
Yeah.
Like literally just sell one and the mortgage is like done. Because why do you need, and I don't know what his situation is, but it seems odd to me, why does the Foreign Affairs Minister in Canada need 2 properties in London, England, when he's been in Canadian government for the last 5 years, and why does he still carry a mortgage on both of these properties?
Yeah, it seems a little strange that one would need 2 vacation properties in the same place.
I would not even call these vacation properties.
Well, maybe they're, rental properties for income, or
at 1.2 and $2.5 million properties, I feel like are not getting put on Airbnb.
Well, that's probably good because of their whole anti-gun stance, but
I don't know. Something about this seems fishier than even the National Post story gets into. Yes, we probably shouldn't have senior government officials owing money to the Chinese government, but also, why does this guy have so many properties outside of Canada when he's been in government for 5 years?
Yeah. I mean, the guy should barely be able to get a mortgage in Canada being a public servant.
Yeah.
Especially so one that doesn't do anything.
I have questions. Also, I don't know if you remember in 2017, this was before he was the Minister of Foreign Affairs, but Champagne said that China was a beacon of stability, predictability, and rules-based systems, a very inclusive society. And it makes me wonder if that's an entirely honest assessment of the Chinese government.
Yeah, so inclusive. Why doesn't he go and buy 2 properties there and move there?
Why doesn't he just stay in England or wherever the hell he was? Why is he in our government?
Yeah.
Seriously, he moved back to Canada and then became a cabinet minister. Like, something about that is suspicious to me.
Yeah. Well,
other things that are suspicious. I'm going to let you take the next one. This was from CP24.
Oh,
fingers crossed. Gavin has his show notes ready.
I have them, but I needed to open them because Oh, here we go. Here, Justin Trudeau. That one?
No, your buddy Houdini, the magician.
Oh, that one.
I mean, whichever.
Oh, that one. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Sorry,
we should do the
wrong thing.
I was out of order. I totally skipped the Justin Trudeau one. I will do the Justin Trudeau one after we talk about your favorite magician.
But my buddy, yeah. So, I mean, I guess we talked about it. The initial shooting of this person in question, the sweet, innocent boy Houdini, who was so nice and was just this talented upcoming musician that also made and sold narcotics and had a rap sheet and all of that nonsense that goes along with it. I guess it was his memorial the other day. And, like all nice young boys that are never done anything wrong, during his memorial, people shot at them. And apparently there were over 60 bullets fired. During it, like that sounds like something that happens when you're a nice, sweet, young, innocent boy, right? Like, if you or I were to have died young and not old and grumpy like we are becoming, like, someone would definitely have shot up our funerals,
only
right?
the good die young.
Yeah, they would have shot up our funerals, right? Like that's how that would have happened, right? Like, that's just a normal thing.
I wish that I was gangster enough that people would shoot up my funeral, but I really don't think that that's going to happen.
Yeah, like, to me it sounds like, like there's a guy that was shot there, and when Houdini was shot, he had a gun himself and he was shooting back.
Hold on, back up. You're telling me that Houdini, the memorial service for this young up and coming rap star,
who was such a nice
very talented musician.
Yeah,
he was shot and killed while in possession of illegal firearms.
Yeah, it's totally, like, that's just circumstantial though, right?
It's
like,
entirely unexpected.
That's irrelevant that he also had a gun and was also firing it in public, and fortunately didn't hit anybody. Unfortunate that he also didn't hit anyone because there were people shooting at him, but whatever. That's the way it goes sometimes, right? You roll the dice when you're a nice, young, sweet, innocent, talented musician. Yeah.
So 60 rounds fired from at least 4 different caliber firearms.
Yeah, so they just opened up on his funeral.
And no victims at the scene, but 2 people later showed up to nearby hospitals reporting gunshot wounds that were not life-threatening. So not particularly good shooting.
Totally not related, yeah. I don't know. Maybe it was the 2 guys from Nova Scotia that were part of that thing. And
well, can we talk about the guys with that? Because the Toronto police released a statement saying that 2 suspects were later arrested, and they've both been charged with discharging a firearm, failure to comply with recognizance, and a number of other firearms-related offenses. They shot at a group of people at a memorial service. Why is there no, attempted murder on that list?
Yeah, it's not they were just
I'm not a lawyer, but it seems to me that if you shoot 60 rounds at someone, A, sights for nights, you guys need some training. B, how is that not attempted murder?
At least one charge of attempted murder, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
well,
the whole thing is crazy.
1 charge per person firing the guns, 1 charge per bullet that was shot, 1 charge for everybody that was in attendance. I don't care which you cut.
Yeah.
They're going with
yeah.
They're going with illegal discharge of firearm, failure to comply with recognizance, which means they are out on bail or some sort of house arrest. So that's good. They're already criminals, and firearms-related offenses, which means they're in possession of illegal guns.
Yeah,
so
totally
illegally in possession of guns.
Well, then so
they're probably up-and-coming chemists and/or music stars. They're just trying to get their product to be legalized, just like what Bill Blair did with marijuana.
Yeah, but I mean, this guy got shot, and I imagine there was a retaliatory shooting at some point between the initial shooting of Houdini and then his memorial service. It was probably that one where they shot the guy in the car and just drove off. But that's me speculating. But there must have been some sort of retaliation. And then this was further retaliation for that. Or they just really don't like this Houdini guy because, I don't know, maybe he had better product than them, or, stepped on some guy's Pumas, or whatever it is that young up-and-coming musicians do to one another to piss each other off so badly that they need to shoot each other.
Yeah, I'm not really upset that some gangbanger in Toronto got murdered by some other gangbanger in Toronto. My concern is that these people are going to get the rest of our legal firearms taken away because they are illegally in possession of their illegal firearms and using them illegally. and your average Torontonian can't distinguish the difference between a gangbanger with a gun
Yeah.
and someone with a firearms license that's using it for recreational purposes.
Yeah, I mean, and certainly don't call out that kind of shenaniganery on the Facebooks, because you will get accused of racism and dog whistling because you called a gangbanger a gangbanger.
Well, and I mean, I'm not going to say you should call a spade because I feel like that's an invitation to racism. But, I mean, if it walks like a duck, it talks like a duck, and it sells crack cocaine, it's probably a gangster.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you make music about selling drugs, and you have a record with the police of selling drugs, and you post on your social media about selling drugs, like, it seems reasonable to me that you sell illegal drugs. Like, that's a reasonable thing to infer. Again, not a lawyer, but...
Yeah, you kind of admitted to it.
I mean, it seems to me like that's how that works. But,
yeah.
I mean, I am obviously not well-versed in the illicit drug trade or the underground rap scene, so maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I doubt it, but maybe I'm wrong. If you know, like, rate the show. You could be on. You can explain to me how many bushels of methamphetamine fit in a bushel.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, or like...
Remember that time I learned about marijuana? That was fun.
Yeah, or like how many, like, gats does it take to get street cred to be up and coming in the music business?
I just, like, totally, like... This is an entertainment podcast. This is my disclaimer that this is not a thing that's going on. But, like, if I were to walk into downtown Toronto and, like, identify some gangbangers who were selling illicit narcotics and, like, showed up on their street corner and just started capping them, how many would I need to cap in order to become the king of the gangbangers? Because, like, if you give me 4 guns and 60 rounds of ammunition, I'm pretty sure I could shoot a lot of gangbangers.
Yeah, just you got to be careful, though, when you use the term king of the gangbang, because that could go totally sideways.
I mean, you're saying that like it's a bad thing.
Yeah. I mean, but I'm pretty sure, like, if you were out there and there was, hypothetically speaking, for entertainment purposes, right, a bunch of gangbangers, I would say that you could at least get like 100, 120 of them, maybe even wound like 3 of them.
I bet there wouldn't even be any shell casings left over in the morning because I police my shit.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think after we finish hunting pedophiles for sport, people selling illicit narcotics might be next on the list.
Yeah.
Again, that's a joke. This is for entertainment purposes. I'm getting a look. Let's listen to that clip though. So we've got our friend the Prime Minister. We've got a cassette tape. I'm gonna play that tape.
Steps from where you took a knee, though, Prime Minister, there was an Ottawa restaurant allowing customers to eat their pizza socially distanced on a patio. They're facing an $880 fine for violating the same emergency orders that you violated, that many of the people at the protest violated. So can you continue to say that we've got to have these lockdown measures in place when there is obviously a difference of how they are applied between people meeting on their driveways, people eating pizza, and people protesting?
Thank you for your question, Brian. I mean, there's a lot of people wondering about what exactly is the right thing to do, what the coming weeks and months will hold for us. One of the things that we've seen very clearly from other jurisdictions, including places like South Korea and others, where a strong handling of the crisis at the beginning has given way to some resurgences here and there, is that as we loosen some of the population control measures, as people are returning to work in some ways, seeing businesses reopen, we need to step up in other ways. We need to continue socially distancing. We need to wear masks where appropriate. But we also need to make sure that we are stepping up on things like contact tracing and exposure notification and massive testing. There are many more things we need to do. Even as we restart the economy, we need to bring in other measures as well to ensure that we can handle any resurgence. All this is difficult and frustrating and longer than we'd hoped it would be. In many ways. But at the same time, we know that the cost of having to return into social isolation, return into lockdown because of a massive resurgence is not one that anyone wants to bear, which is why we are being very cautious going forward, and we continue to encourage people to follow all public health advice and guidance.
That answer was difficult and longer than we expected it to be.
Yeah, I feel like that answer was longer than this whole lockdown.
It pains me to hear him speak because it is such an absolute word salad. But
well, and like that didn't even answer the question.
The question and the answer were completely unrelated. The context for this is there was a Black Lives Matter rally, protest, what have you, in Ottawa near Parliament. Everyone remembers we talked a couple weeks ago. The Liberal-backed minority, backed by the NDP, voted to effectively suspend Parliament until sometime in the fall. Within days of doing that, the Prime Minister was at a Black Lives Matter event in Ottawa with his Black Lives Matter t-shirt, kneeling on the ground. Not being a good leader, not projecting a strong presence, not being a head of state.
Yeah, not following the guidelines that have been set forth by the state of emergency in gathering size or social distance and all of that. And like, at least if in his answer he'd said, yeah, I was at the rally and yeah, I disobeyed that because I believe in this cause, straight up.
That would be better than the word salad that we just had to endure
exactly.
for 2
minutes. Whether I agree with it or not.
That was a 2-minute answer where he didn't actually address the question.
No, but
that might be a new record.
He did basically say that, like, you know, because of all of this, we're going to start snooping on you with contact tracing. I mean, that's what I heard out of that.
I wish they would just come out and say that we, as a politician, I just have a different set of rules that I live by. I tell you to stay home and not go to your cottage, and I go to my cottage with my family and watch Idris Elba have relations with my wife. And I wish they would just come out and say it, because it would be a lot more honest, and I would have more respect for him.
Exactly.
If he was just being honest.
You know, the testicular fortitude to go, yeah, I broke those rules because I went to the protest because it's something I believe in. Like, whether I agree with it or not, at least I could respect that he just was straightforward and said, yeah, I did it. Like, just own up to it. You know, like, that would go a long way with politicians. If they just owned up to the shit that they did.
We really should have some sort of a law. Every time that we catch a politician lying or doing something counter to their own rules, or a fine is not good enough. Certainly not the ethics violation for that $200.
Yeah,
like,
that's
get the sergeant at arms to mace them.
Yeah,
and I get to be the sergeant at arms, so I can hit you really hard with the mace. Because I feel like the appointed sergeant at arms maybe is going to play favorites, whatever. I hate all politicians, so I'll smack each and every one of them with the mace.
Yeah, I mean, whoever the sergeant at arms is should have no political affiliation whatsoever.
Yeah, he literally just is like a retired company sergeant major or a regimental sergeant major, or something, just like a crotchety vet.
Yeah, the only qualification is that he lifts. That's it.
Yeah, that's really it. Like, just give me a really jacked retired regimental sergeant major, and every time a politician gets out of line, he just walks over and smacks him with the mace.
Yeah,
I'd be on board with that.
Yeah, or a good like Aussie style booting.
Yeah, I can get on board with that. Speaking of Aussie style bootings, I have a candidate. In case it wasn't enough that we talked about the candidate for Simcoe North, the hopeful Liberal that didn't win their riding. It's on Global News from last week. Toronto police officer and 9 other men were charged in a human trafficking investigation involving a 16-year-old girl. Yeah. So
where are we with those DO hit squads?
49-year-old douchebag Toronto police officer was arrested and charged with obtaining sexual services for consideration from people under 18 years of age. Constable douchebag's got 11 years in service at 5-1 in Toronto. He's currently suspended with pay, set to appear in court at the end of June. 9 other men also charged with obtaining services from the same underage girl. I have, like, there's a lot going on with this.
Yeah.
I have an issue with sex work in general, which I admit, like, is an unpopular opinion because I don't think that sex work should be work. But if you're going to do it, you should be an adult under whatever realm of adulthood we establish in this country, which, again, I don't agree that just because you're 18 makes you an adult. But for the sake of argument, let's say that 18-year-olds are adults. If you want to use your body to avail yourself of other people's currency, I mean, as long as you get a business license and pay taxes on it, my inner libertarian says that you should be able to do it. But also, stop being fucking degenerate. That's pretty good. I got almost 40 minutes without dropping an F-bomb, but, like, I feel strongly about this one. Like, I don't have an issue with sex workers. I have an issue with the way that our society handles sex work, in that it's like, it's not a real business, in that it is done in the black market and it is not taxed and regulated, and it is unsafe for, like, everyone involved.
Yeah.
And also the whole, like, exploitation of minors thing. It's like, there's a lot going on with this, but also, this dude's been on the job for 11 years. How many other, like, not kosher things has he done in his career?
Yeah. I mean, and this is a pretty big one. Like, I mean, we're not talking about, like, you know, speeding or, like, BitTorrenting, like, some Hollywood movie or something that's, like, whatever. Like,
No, I mean,
crime
like,
no one
this is
gives a shit
exploitation
about.
of a minor. Like,
Yeah,
this is,
so, like,
this
yeah,
is a
how many
big deal. Like,
other
this is a, again,
major things that...
during the Boogopolis, hunt pedophiles for sport.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm fairly clear on where I land on this issue. And
Yeah.
I don't care if it's an underage sex worker. It's still, like, within the realms of our legal system, this person was not an adult. You were doing things with not an adult.
Yeah.
You get to swing for that. That is a swinging offense in my book.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, despite that, like, even if the minor was actually 100% consenting, and I can't believe I just said that, but even if that's the case, you as the adult can still say no, and you didn't. Like,
and on top of that, they're an agent of the state with the authority of the state behind their tin badge.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot going on in this story, and it is just rage-inducing. I don't want to say that I want to know more, but I am curious about more, because it seems unusual to me that it would be a single 16-year-old girl acting on her own. I am curious as to what other parties are involved in this, if this is some sort of, like, organized crime, if there is a
especially
involved,
if it's like
if there's
this solitary female and 9 dudes.
10
like,
dudes. The cop is also a dude.
So, like, 10 dudes then. Like, yeah, that just... It seems like there's a lot more going on here.
Well, and I know about as much about escorts as I know about marijuana. So I don't know how many bushels of escorts you can see in a day, but I feel like it's...
Yeah.
I don't know. A working day is 8 hours. You see a guy every hour. You see 8 guys a day. I don't know if that's, like, a realistic figure, but I mean, like, this seems like a day's worth of work.
That sounds like a lot of chafing.
Right, but, like, I don't know what the frequency, and maybe this is, like, one person over several months that did it. Like, it was literally 10 instances, but I have a hard time accepting that as being the reality. I feel like this involves more people. I feel like there's more going on. I would be curious to know what kind of trafficking is involved. I'm curious if this is some kind of organized crime thing.
Yeah,
I would be curious in why the Toronto police...
coercion or something at the very least with this, if not a full-blown,
And that's the part that I am interested is not the right word, but I would like more information about. Because if they rescued one minor from some sort of sex trafficking, that's great. That is one person who they have saved from further exploitation.
Yeah.
But if this is like an organized thing where there are dozens or hundreds of people involved, again, like, this should be a swinging offense in my book. who's running this, how many people are they running, where's like what there's got to be more to this than there was just 10 dudes getting charged.
Yeah, and like, you know, I believe everybody needs to be held to the same standard. However, at times, if someone needs to be held to a higher standard, it should be like
Agents
law
of the
enforcement.
state.
Yeah, law enforcement, politicians, like the people that make and enforce the rules. If anyone's going to be held to a higher standard, it should be them. So yeah, like for people that are supposed to be protecting the people that they're exploiting, you should, like, if it was possible, hang twice. You know?
Yeah.
Or we just don't do the math on the rope length right, and you actually have to just hang there until you die and it doesn't break your neck. Like, that's also okay.
Death by asphyxiation rather than by actual hanging.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There has to be more to the story than that. And I mean, I'm glad that there's a police action on it. I'm glad that they've got these 10 people charged, and I'm glad that they've managed to remove this one minor from sex trafficking. Like, it is a good but small step.
Yeah.
On the continuing topic, the rest of the show will be about police, predominantly in Toronto, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Because isn't it time to ban crime? Isn't it time to ban Toronto?
Yeah.
Suspended Toronto police officer charged with impaired stunt driving. That's stunt driving while being impaired.
Hey, go big or go home, man.
Well, I mean, and this particular police officer did just that. 180 kilometers an hour on the 407. Also, while blowing 4 times the legal limit at 1:30 in the afternoon. Which, I mean, I guess is better than it at 7:30 in the morning, but like 4 times the legal limit at 1:30 in the afternoon, doing 180 kilometers an hour on the 407.
Yeah. I'm like,
that's...
How do you even keep it between the rails at that point, right? Like, that's...
I mean, I don't want to say that I'm mad. I'm actually kind of impressed, but also I'm mad as hell.
Yeah, I mean...
But also kind of impressed.
Yeah, I mean, as this is an entertainment show, I mean, we've got to have at least a little bit of a sense of humor about things, but like...
But like, and I mean, I'm glad that no one got hurt. I'm glad that he was pulled over. I'm glad that the vehicle was impounded and his license has been suspended. Like, all of that is all, like, that's all good. But like, how do you drive your car 4 times the legal limit and do $180?
Yeah. And not hit anything.
Right. And I mean, like, he did it safely, ish. As safely as he can. Like, no one was hurt.
You could drive at 100 kilometers an hour while hammered. Yeah. Yeah, it's, I mean, yeah, I don't think I could do that.
I don't think I want to try, but so, license suspended, vehicle impounded, this is all good. The Toronto officer in question actually lives in Paris, Ontario, that's a fair drive to Toronto. Like, that's an hour plus to get in, depending on traffic. Well, no, I suppose not. Not at $180. Interestingly, this particular constable was already on paid suspension, facing charges of threatening bodily harm, extortion, breach of trust, and careless storage of a firearm.
Oh, wow.
This is following when he showed up to the residence of another person while he was wearing his uniform and carrying his issued firearm to threaten someone over a debt owed to a third party. So clearly an upstanding individual.
Yeah.
He also, because of the Sunshine List in Ontario, we also know that he made $140,000 in 2019.
And that's the money.
So he pulled a little bit of overtime.
Yeah.
And he's been on the job for 18 years. So, again, a fine example of why we don't have the utmost confidence in all of our law enforcement officials.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, on the plus side, at least he wasn't banging a 16-year-old.
That we know of.
Yeah. But yeah, given his rap sheet so far, would not be surprised.
I don't know. Yeah, this is... Yeah. again, I'm not terribly impressed by this, and I'm with you, like, kind of like Animal Farm here. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others, and this is some animal that should be more equal. This you should be being held to a higher standard. Yeah. Okay, so you got your license suspended for 9 days, your vehicle got impounded for a week. Cool. Let's just take away your car.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe while we're at it, we'll just take away your job. You just don't get to be a police officer anymore.
Yeah. And like none of this like suspended with pay nonsense, like for any of the stuff that he's done. It's like you're just fired. Like you've proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that you're incapable of performing your job without breaking the law.
And maybe something is going on. Clearly something is going on because he showed up to intimidate a person while he appeared to be on duty. But I don't know, man. Like it's what you said earlier. Police and politicians, government officials should be held to a higher standard. In my not so educated opinion, if you're going to carry the tin badge that gives you the authority of the state, you should be better than the people that you are policing. You should be held to a higher standard. You should not be like. I mean, obviously, we don't know what actually transpired, and he's been charged, but he hasn't been determined to have been in breach of anything. So maybe he just got accused of something that never happened, but then also 180 kilometers an hour and 4 times over the limit. Like, that seems pretty cut and dry.
It's not the kind of thing that you accidentally get accused of. Like, we're not talking about someone like saying, hey, you fit the description of a guy that shoplifted something, so we're charging you with it until we can prove otherwise. It's like they caught him shit-faced driving down the highway at 180 kilometers an hour. Like, that's not accidental, right? Like, that's not a mistaken identity thing.
Yeah, again, higher standard. That's where I'm landing on that one. Also, on the topic of things that deserve a higher standard of care, CTV News, this is also from last week. An unmarked police vehicle with registered weapons inside was stolen in Markham. I don't know what that exactly means because they seem to have been issued firearms, but let's just ignore that title and move on. Yeah. York Regional Police are asking for the public's help locating an unmarked police vehicle that was stolen from Markham on Thursday. Apparently, it was a black 2016 Toyota Highlander that was given to an OPP officer. I didn't know the OPP had Toyotas, but apparently they have.
Well, we know they do now, or at least they had one.
They had one.
Yeah.
They
also had a few other things they no longer have.
Well, and again, awesome reporting with the mainstream media, as always. A police-issued rifle, handgun, ammunition, and 2 conductive energy weapons were stored inside of a locked compartment in the vehicle. So, to me, that says AR-15, Colt C7 AR-15, like an assault rifle. Yeah. The police will call it a patrol carbine. A handgun, which will be whatever. If he's OPP, it's probably some flavor of a Glock. I think they carry 40s. And conductive energy weapon means taser, if I'm not mistaken, or whatever the not brand name of taser is.
Yeah.
I don't know specifically what they issued OPP. Dear OPP, I know you're listening. Please tell us what you carry. I'm pretty sure you got Glock 40s, and I'm pretty sure that you actually get name brand tasers, but I don't know. Could be wrong. Point is, Buddy had his duty-issued firearms taken from his duty-issued vehicle. If I leave my guns in the car unattended, I lose my firearms license, I face 5 years in prison, I face a lifetime prohibition of owning firearms, I get charged with careless storage, I probably get charged with a couple of other things. I'm trying to think, like, I can think of at least 4 or 5 charges off the top of my head that I would get. I would like to know what is happening with this OPP officer.
Possession of a prohibited device because of the taser, because you can't have those.
Okay, yeah, but like, let's assume that I don't have 2 conductive energy weapons, but I leave my AR-15 and my Glock in my truck, and somebody steals my truck.
Yeah.
Like, unsafe storage times 2, failure with the Firearms Act times 2, Failure with the storage regulations ×2 or ×4 possibly.
Yeah.
Probably charges for the ammunition, but those won't stick to. They'll just levy them because the guns and ammo are supposed to be stored, transported together, and or separately, depending on how you interpret the Firearms Act. So let's say they charge me for the ammo too. Like, I can come up with like 4 or 5 right off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But like, this guy's not getting a charge. This guy doesn't seem to be getting investigated. The police just want their stuff back.
Yeah. Yeah, he's probably not even getting a slap on the wrist, really. I mean, it's not like, Johnson, you're back down to writing parking tickets. Like, that's not happening.
Here's your wood gun.
Yeah. And apparently they carry a Glock 9mm, a Colt C8, and the X2. For the
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I said C7. It's a C8. They carry the carbine.
Yeah.
What's the X2? Is that a taser? Is that like a taser
Yeah.
brand taser, or is this like when you call facial tissue Kleenex? It's not actually Kleenex
Yeah.
unless it's made by.
Or
Johnson
maybe
&
that's
Johnson.
supposed to say taser ×2. Either way, it's a taser.
Taser. I don't even know her.
Don't tase me, bro.
Actually, you know what? That's going down as a show title.
I hope whoever has them has fun with them. I mean, if you're going to
it
tase
can't
someone,
hurt, right?
tase your friends, right?
Well, as someone who has been tased and pepper sprayed and OC sprayed or I guess OC gassed. I mean, it's not a good time, but it is a fun party trick.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you that the OC spray is not fun. And that's just being in the room with someone else getting it.
Yeah. Grow stronger.
No, it's fine. It's not fun. Just it tickles the throat. Gotta go.
A reminder for everybody from Monday's show: the official Big Luau shirts are on our Amazon affiliate link. Go in the show notes. Go down to shilling. Buy yourself an official Big Luau shirt.
Yeah.
We're trying the whole Amazon affiliate thing out. In order to qualify, we need to make a couple of sales. So if you're gonna buy a Big Luau shirt, please buy the official Big Luau shirt. Or a book.
Yeah.
We're also doing a book club, the June book. Next week, we're going to do on the bonus episode, we're going to do The Way of Men by Jack Donovan. So if you want to read The Way of Men, and you probably do because it's pretty good, go ahead and buy the book through our Amazon link in the show notes or CanadianPatriotPodcast.com and click on Book Club at the top. And there's links to, I'm putting in the links to the upcoming books. So The Way of Men is on there already. So if you're gonna buy something from Amazon, try and buy it from us. It doesn't cost you anything except having to go through our website, and it helps us get some money to run the show. So I would like to try that. We'll see how it goes. Also, while you're clicking things, petitions. I assume everyone who listens has signed the petitions. There are 3 petitions. Go and sign the petitions. Please sign the petitions. Have your friends sign the petition. Tell your wife to sign the petition. Tell your girlfriend to sign the petition. Don't tell your wife and your girlfriend at the same time to sign the petition unless you're into that.
Well, I mean, the CBC did just release an article on polyamory and the COVID.
Yeah,
so.
we might talk about polyamory on the
Well, there you
Monday.
go.
We'll see.
So stay tuned. So if you haven't got your girlfriend and wife to sign yet, stay tuned till next
To
week
learn
when
more.
we figure out how to do that. Is that a sensational
Thanks, CBC.
headline? Yeah, is that enough to get you to listen next week, everyone?
Yeah. So the big petition's 223,000 signatures. It's not moved. It's been like 223,000 for like a couple weeks. We got to get those numbers up, guys.
Yeah.
If your gun club hasn't sent an email yet telling all your gun club members to do that, email the show. I'll send you templates that you can have your gun club send out. It's like almost no work. It's as close to no work as you can get, except for having to send an email and copy and paste stuff. Super easy.
Yeah, and like where it says insert your gun club name here, you have to insert your gun club name there.
Yeah, not naming names, but I mean, Gavin, where can everyone find you on the internet?
I mean, when I'm not out, hunting pedophiles, you can find me on the grams. Yeah. You can find me on the grams, Urbex _GTA.
If you listen to the show this long, you deserve a discount code. Go to ragnaroktactical.ca, buy some tactical accessories, use the discount code Patriot at checkout. We have lots of first aid supplies, we have some body armor, we have nylon stuff, we have the finest high-speed gear ink tacos to carry all your magazines. RagnarokTactical.ca, use the discount code Patriot at checkout, you save yourself some money. Everything is always $10 flat rate shipping. That's just how we roll. We value your opinion, or at the very least, I'll read your opinion on the show. Send us your feedback at CanadianPatriotPodcast.com. Let us know what you think of the show. And I have to apologize to Rod Giltaca. We offered to have him on the show this week. He said that he is still trying to read The Way of Men. As soon as he gets reading figured out, it's the first book on his list. We wish him good luck with that endeavor. For all of our patriots out there in podcast land, I would like to remind you that you are the true North, strong and free.